looking at beautiful Lake Cahuilla here, Corps of Engineers Lake, Southern California, 30 miles east of Visalia. We are at office headquarters here. We're going to go in and talk to the manager here. This is the manager here, Earl Kaufman the first. We're going to talk to her here in just a minute.
Yes, I am Earl Kaufman the first. I am the manager here at Lake Cahuilla, and we're currently doing some progressive work. Going to be setting up a guided tour, and we'd like for Mr. Keith Willis, one of the rangers here, to come in and give you the details about that.
Keith Willis, you just met our office manager up there, Earl Kaufman first, and he has designated me to try to put together a new tour here. And we are really excited about this at Lake Cahuilla. It is the first in the country for any Corps of Engineer lake. We call it Skateboard into History. We have a bunch of volunteers that we've already lined up, and we've purchased many thousands of skateboards already. We have them stored in a large building down here. We paid $10 a piece for them. And we've already got this program underway. And what we do is we get volunteers. We already have them here. People come up here and they sign up inside for this tour. They grab a skateboard, put a $1 deposit, make sure we get our skateboards back. We don't want to steal them. And then we get a volunteer. They're ready to go here. And then we skateboard around the high points of this lake. And whenever one of the person who's a visitor taking this tour wants the volunteer to stop and give them a history tour at that location, we provide them a whistle, and then they just blow on the whistle. The tour guide stops the volunteer and gives them the history at that particular location. It's really an exciting, innovative tour. No one, like I say, no lake has ever tried it, and we've had great feedback, great results from it so far. So we're going to take you today on a video tour of this Skateboard into History here at Lake Cahuilla and show you what we're doing up here at Lake Cahuilla, the exciting things we're doing. We're bringing people up here, and it's a marvelous time up here.
Yes, this is Merle Kaufman. I'm a twin brother to the park manager, Earl Kaufman. And what we're going to do, we're going to go on a guided tour around the lake here, assisted by Mr. Keith Willis, the park ranger here. And this is going to be strictly on skateboards, and we think it's going to be great. It's never been tried before, as Mr. Willis said. And whenever you get to a place of interest on this guided tour, after having picked up your skateboards here at the headquarters here, if you see something that you really want to get some information on, why, we want you to blow a whistle, just like the one that I've got here. Each one's going to receive one of these whistles. We're getting ready to take off on this guided tour, and everybody get your skateboard set, and we're going to have the time of your lives. I'll tell you, this is going to be something really unique and unusual. So everybody, let's take off. We're ready to go. Let's go.
Earl? Merle? Can you stop? Stop. What a beautiful spot here, Earl. Where is this location?
This location...
And is there any history to this location right here?
Yes, there is. We are at this point below the main dam. It's a beautiful spot here. You listen closely, you waterfalls here. And there's some very interesting tales that was told about this place, and I tend to believe these tales. The most unique one is that there was a man that lived down here. Of course, this was way back there before the dam was ever placed here for flood control purposes. And there was a man that lived down here. He was quite a unique man. He was big. I'm not only talking about tall. This man, like 2 inches, being 8 feet tall. He had long hair, and he had a beard, and the man weighed 474 pounds. Most people was afraid of him, but once they got to know him, he was just as gentle as he could be. Well, they had a name that they tagged on him because of something else unique about him. This man had a total of 12 toes on his left foot, and on his right foot he had 16 toes. He had a total of 19 fingers, totaling on both hands. They nicknamed him Many Toes because he had so many toes. And people came from miles around to see this man. He was not only interesting to look at, never seen nothing like him, but he could also entertain you with stories about the Old West. He tells about running with one outlaw by the name of Jesse James, and most of us know about Jesse James from our history books. He also ran with a left-handed gunman that was supposed to have been faster than White Earp. And he says, in fact, White Earp and this man had a contest one time, and he actually beat White Earp. Of course, it's not widely known because White Earp was known as one of the fastest guns alive. But this man lived here for about 64 years. And they got word of the gold strike up around Sacramento. And he left to go up there to see if he couldn't make his fortune. But that's the most interesting story that was told about this place that we're standing right here.
This is the tower out here at Lake Cahuilla. Really nice, lovely spot. Earl, tell us about the history at this particular location. Do you know of any history here at this spot?
Yes, I do. This is what is known as the tower. There's some interesting things that has happened here. One thing is, because it's such a beautiful place, you can look down below and you can see the houseboats here and the different pleasure boats that's located here on the lake. But off to my left here, it says Terminus Dam up here on the tower. Well, part of the requirements of being accepted for employment here with the Corps of Engineers, not only for the rangers, but also for the maintenance and all the contractors, they have to do a free fall off of this down into the water. And the only way that it can be done is to climb to the extreme top of this tower on the east point and set it in your mind that you've got to clear the bottom of it by at least 15 feet or you may hit the bank. Well, this puts fear in some of the people, but because it is such a good place to work, they do not want this to stop them from being employed up here. So everyone that's working up here at the current time has had to make this jump. Also, they have to do 3 complete somersaults before they hit the water. And they have to land on their feet. This is required because of possible head injuries. Well, I don't want to call any names, but one maintenance man and one ranger, we had to literally throw them off of here. We wanted them to work up here. We knew they were scared. We told them, well, we're just going to climb up next to you. We didn't let them know we was going to throw them off. And they completely froze. And we knew that they got the job, they's going to have to go off. So one of us got on each side, and we grabbed a hold of them, and we threw them off. Needless to say, it scared them. They had to go into rehab after this for about a month. But after they recovered, I tell you, they was brave as anything. Nothing would scare them. And besides, once they cleared the dam, they said later that it was great.
This is a free area here at Lake Kawea, lime kiln. The Corps of Engineers is environmentally minded. We're trying to bring this area here back to nature. It used to be inhabited by visitors and campers and such, but the Corps of Engineers believes that this spot here would be better left to nature, so we've cleared out the people and we're going to let nature take over. Merle, what's your name again? Is it Merle or Earl?
I'm Merle. I'm the twin brother to Earl Kaufman, the park manager.
Yeah, excuse me, I keep calling you Earl sometimes. Is there any history here that's of interest to us that you can think of?
Yes, there is. For one thing, back in the 1860s, in fact, this happened in the year 1863, they had a hard time of rounding up enough horses to do the cattle work here. Well, there was somebody in the Far East got that idea that they would fill this gap of not having enough horses by bringing in some camels. Well, they brought in a boatload of camels. They landed in San Francisco. They had to bring them down here by way of wagon train. The doggone camels wanted to ride in the wagons. They're good on the desert, but don't ever try to force them to walk on, just regular ground. They had to take the canvas tops off the wagons, take the metal hoops off, and they had to load each camel on a wagon and just sort of pacify him, feed him carrots. They really had to work with them to get them down into this part of the country. Well, they realized the cost was running high, but they knew they didn't have enough horses and mules to do the jobs that had to be done around here. Well, they thought, we'll go ahead and just stand the cost factor and just disregard it because we're going to make the money back with them. But what they didn't realize, that these camels was raised in sand. They got them down in these mountainous areas here, and they couldn't get no work out of them at all. In fact, they just more or less went on a strike. Well, they wound up losing a lot of money. They had to put the camels out to pasture. They had to feed them. They wasn't allowed to kill them because it would have been cruelty to animals. And but the kids got a kick out of it. I'll tell you, the kids comes from miles around. The parents brought them. They found out these camels love for kids to ride on their back. And so this is called Camel No, because of this incident that happened with the camels. Yes, directly behind me here is called Lemon Hill. And there's some interesting history concerning Lemon Hill here. If you'll notice here, I have a picture here in my hands. And this young boy was born on the top of this hill here in a log cabin. And his name was Dakota. And later on, they had such a hard time pronouncing that name that he decided to change it to Phil Daffenbach. And this young man grew up here, and he was quite unique. He was so swift at running that he could run faster backwards than most people could forward. And in fact, later on, he became interested in trick pony riding. And they would come from miles around to see this young man do the trick riding on ponies, and he became quite famous. In fact, if you'll zoom your camera around here to this highway off to the southeast here, they named this highway after him. That's called the Field-Dackenbach Highway. And as you know, why, it's beautiful around here, but this hill is remembered not only because that they grew lemons here, but also because of this young man growing up here and being so fast on foot that he, as I said, the 100-yard dash, being able to run it in 9 seconds was nothing. If they had records that went back that far, this young man ran it in 4.3 seconds.
This is the Kauai recreation area where we're at right now at Lake Kauai. It's a nice, pretty area. Lots of picnic sites, as you can see. Earl, I'm going to test your historical knowledge here. I understand you are a history expert.
Yes.
And geography as well. For example, where that garbage can is at right now, can you tell us any particular important historical event or anything important in history that happened in the past where that garbage can is sitting right now? This might be too tough for you, I don't know.
Well, this one particular spot here, what is unique about this spot here, of many spots that you could pick around here, that you can go back as far back as you want to go back, and there's absolutely nothing happened here. I mean nothing. Nothing except just a garbage can sitting there now. If there was anything happen, it was beyond my ability to tell. But that's what is unique about it, because, you know, we think many times, well, something's interesting because something happened there. But let's just turn it around and look at the other side of the coin. It can be interesting because here's one spot, pick it out of the whole world, and there is absolutely nothing that has happened here. So in a way, that can be interesting too. So just think about that. Try it on, see what you think about it. It's a train of thought.
Pretty spot here, Merle.
Yes, it is.
This is an overlook here at Lake Kauai Recreation Area. Boat dock just down there yonder. Merle, can you think of any important history that's of value to us right here, in this area right here?
Yes, I can. This particular spot, there's been a couple of incidences that will make worthy to mention. First of all, you know that just above here is 3 rivers. There's 3 rivers that comes in to this one river. So you don't have to be very smart to figure out why they named it 3 rivers. But I said all that to say this. Most people don't know it. It should have been named 4 rivers because there is an underground river that goes underneath here. This originates up at Crystal Cave. By the time the water reaches this point underneath this lake, it is going at such a rapid rate that as a result of the fast rate of the movement of the water, for some unknown reason, there is unique fish in this underground river. And at one time, there was 3 houseboats going out through here. Well, for some reason, there was a hole made probably from the runoff, and we had these different fish come up into this top level into the lake that we can see now. Well, these fish was so unique that they called the experts in to try to figure out what in the world was happening. Well, this was a throwback between a swordfish and a killer whale. And there was 3 of them that escaped out of the underground river and got into this lake here. And needless to say, it scared the dickens out of a few people. And this whale species type of a fish ripped 2 of the houseboats to pieces. The people had to scramble for their lives. The other boat was damaged moderately, but they went back to the marina and they reported this, but it is so unusual. In fact, it probably goes back to prehistoric times. They have decided to cover this up. I and a few more people is the only ones that know about this, but I feel like the cover should be jerked off. Let's expose this thing. Let's go down and open this river up and get these unique fish out of here. And if it is something that we don't need to know, well, we'll just try to, by mass coverage of the media, we'll try to make them believe that it was just all make-believe and that it really didn't happen. But I think that if we do bring these fish out, we're going to learn some pretty good information on how fish originated in the beginning. That's just one of the things that happened up here.
This is Horse Creek, is it not, Earl?
Yeah.
Or Merle, I mean?
Horse Creek, that's right.
Is there any history that's, this is a nice, pretty view. How about history in this area? Can you tell us?
Well, yes, there is some interesting history connected with Horse Creek here. The reason why that it was named Horse Creek is because that at one time this place was covered with horses. The reason why that there were so many horses here, there was, according to past history, a flying horse that was located in this area. That's where the oil company that is called Flying A, this is where it originated right here, from this so-called flying horse. And there was more than one person seen it. Well, it was so interesting that it caused other horses to want to come to this area in order to see a flying horse. Well, this was between the years 1926 to 1924. They said this horse used to come in from the east here, fly down through Horse Creek here, and he had a sort of a unique sense of humor. They said he would do all kinds of acrobatic stunts in the air. And you've heard of buffalo wings. See the chicken commercial over TV, and they show buffaloes flying up in the air. Well, I'll tell you, this probably originated from this flying horse, that commercial that we see about the flying buffaloes. Well, one summer, he just didn't come back. And people don't know what happened to him, although there was a rumor that in Europe, in a certain circus, that they had a flying horse, but they held him captive. They had a 200-foot rope on him. They would let him go 200 feet high. They knew that he would fly away and go back to California if he ever got loose. So, rumor is that he probably stayed with that circus. And we don't really know, the end of it. But who knows? There may be another one show up anytime. And as a result of this, that's why this is called Horse Creek. Because the horses used to come from all over to try to get sight of this flying horse.
Slick Rock recreation area here at Lake Clea, very popular, summertime, beautiful area. Merle, can you tell us some history here at this place right here?
Yes, I can. This is a very beautiful spot. People come from all over here. This place is known for the yodel contest that they used to have up here. And we're going to try to get this instituted again up here. And a lot of people like to yodel, and it's almost a lost art. But however, it is an enjoyable type of music, and it originated back in the South and down in the bayou country and the plains. And people used to gather around their homes, and they would do a different type of yodeling. And I'll give you a little demonstration of a yodel. And also they did a little dance with it. If you'll zoom right in over here, I'll get over here where the ground is soft. But I'll do the yodeling right now at this time. Then I'll come in on the dance. But it goes something like this. Of course, you can originate any style that you want to. Adi-odel-o-dip-dee, odel-o-dip-dee, odel-o-dip-dee-le-dip-dee, adi-odel-o-dip-dee-le-dip-dee-lo-dip-dee, odel-o-dip-dee-le-dip-dee-le-dip-dee-o, odel-o-dip-dee-le-dip-dee-lo-dip-dee, odel-o-dip-dee-le-dip-dee. Then you top it off with a little dance. You originally had fiddle music to go along with that, but they used to do that in here. We're going to get that started back. I think it will add to the attraction up here, and I'll tell you, it gets your blood circulating, gets your adrenaline flowing. I already feel better after doing that little jig right there, and it's just good for what ails you, and people enjoy it. And we're going to try to get the core maybe every morning when we gather up there to have coffee. We're going to try to get each one of them to give us a little yodel and maybe a stomp dance or two. But that's what used to happen around here, and we want to get it started again.
This is the campground here at Lake Coulee, Horse Creek Campground. Very nice spot, very busy in the summertime. We'll span around here, and there's the amphitheater. '80 sites for visitors to tent, camp. Earl?
Yes.
What about history here at the Horse Creek Campground? Any important, interesting history in this area?
Yes, there is some quite interesting events that has taken place here back over the years. First of all, the Spanish used to gather in here, and they would have their Mexican stomp dances, and they would serenade one another, and it turned out that once they started gathering in here that it got to be an annual event. And they would come from all over to visit and just have a good time. They'd cook their tortillas, their beans, frijoles, and they would sit around the campfires and talk about things that happened around this area. And one of the things that was quite interesting, I thought, was the fact that back during the Civil War, of course, out in here, nobody knew what was really going on. So they said they did not want to be involved in that at all. So they steered clear of it. They spent most of their time just talking about good things, and while this war was going on back east, they would gather here and they would have a good time. They would sing songs, they would do their Mexican stomp dance, and if I may, I'll give you a little demonstration of, first of all, I'll sing one of the songs that they used to sing. Aranda Rancho Grande, Aranda Rodovia, Dale di Medicina, Dale di Medicina, Det voglio sei Castellandi, det voglio sei Castellandi, Aranda Rancho Grandi, Aranda Rovevia, the lady made the sia, the lady made the sia, det voglio sei Castellandi, det voglio sei Castellandi. Now for the step dance. They used to do that almost every night once they come up here one time annually. And so that's basically the most interesting things that happen around here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that includes the tour, and we'd like to thank you from the depths of our heart. We appreciate you, and we had a great time on this tour, and this was something different. We thought we'd try it on skateboards and see how it worked out, and I liked it real well, and I've enjoyed being your guide. And by the way, I do give skateboard lessons. If you'll notice how adept I was on that skateboard. And just, you can get in touch with me through the Corps here if you'd like to get in touch with me. Again, we'd like to say thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
This concludes the tour today, ladies and gentlemen. We have recorded really the first ever video of this tour, which is a unique tour. You saw it. You were right there. Skateboard into history, and it happened here at Lake Coweta. So pass the word to your friends, your relatives. Tell them to come on up here, get a skateboard, get a volunteer, and join the fun. See this place, and listen to the history.